There is nothing that symbolizes the town of Lahaina more than the iconic Banyan Tree, which has stood in front of the courthouse for 150 years. For some, it has come to stand for the city's resilience. But after being charred by the wildfires, will it survive? To help answer that question, I'm now joined by Steve Nimz, considered by many to be the state's top arborist. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you were in Lahaina over the weekend examining the tree, so will it survive?
I was lucky enough to be able to go over and take a look at the tree with the help of a lot of people. So yes, we assessed the tree. The tree has the main trunk, and then it has actually 35 or more aerial roots that come down. So what I did was I inspected all the aerial roots. I checked underneath the bark to see if there's live tissue. So the main thing is to find out if there's live tissue under the tree. Checking the live tissue, we found that on every of the aerial roots in the main trunk, there was live tissue on all the branches. So that on all the main trunks. So that was a good indication. There was sap coming out, but it was very low, which is not normal. Normally, these trees have a very profuse amount of sap. So the sap flow is low, but the tissue is live. We went up into the upper canopy with an aerial lift, and we had help from companies called Prometheus Construction. They supplied the aerial lift and supplied people to put tree protection around the tree. And then we also had help from Goodfellow, who's watering the tree right now. They're bringing in their big water trucks and cannons to rehydrate the tree. So up in the canopy of the tree, the leaves and fruit are still on the tree, but they're not burned off, but they are dead, including the small little twigs. But where the twigs are attached onto branches 3 to 8 inches in diameter, testing those, we have live tissue under those. So that's a good sign. Low flow of sap, but the tissue is live. So that indicates that the tree's still alive, but I don't know if we can relate it to a person that's in a coma. It's kind of just holding there and waiting to see what happens next. So the thing that we've done, of course, is we're watering it and monitoring the water. We've taken soil samples. We're taking water samples. We're going to be aerating the soil to break up the compaction. We're going to be adding a compost tea micronutrient mix to help stimulate new root growth. So we'll be adding that to the top of the soil, watering that in, and then we're going to be putting a layer of compost on our mulch on top of that.
Steve,
so that will help as a blanket.
Yeah, you were mentioning some of the leaves are burnt, but you guys decided to leave them there. Can you explain why?
What was that, sorry?
Some of the leaves are burnt. You were explaining to me earlier.
The leaves are burnt, and I've decided at this time that we want to leave the leaves and the fruit on the tree, even though they're dead. What they do is they act as like a umbrella or reducing the amount of sun that comes down through the tree that can actually burn the branches. Similar to if you work in an office all day long and you go out on the weekend and don't put on any sunscreen and go to the beach, you're going to get burnt. Same thing that happens to trees. They're used to having that shade canopy over the top of them, but if we take all that shade off, even though it's dead branches, it will allow the sun to penetrate through the branches and burn the top of the branches, which will cause problems. Yeah. So that's the reason we'll be leaving the leaves and the dead branches on at the present time. And after we get new growth, then we'll change that.
And you described the bee as being like in a coma. How long will it be in a coma? How long do you think it'll take before you find out for sure it will survive?
It's like asking the person, the doctor, how long is the person going to be in a coma? I don't know, but I guess I'm kind of saying is that I feel that we should be seeing something happening within the next 3 to 4 months or 6 months. But I think the main thing we'll be looking for is periodically checking underneath the bark, the cambium layer, and making sure that the wood is alive. The cambium layer is alive, and there is some sap flowing through there. And if that continues to be that way, then it's just like then the tree is going to tell us. We're going to be listening to the tree. And when the tree wakes up and all of a sudden we see a few new buds popping out, we know that we're doing the right treatment. If we test it and we see more decline on the tree, then we might have to change the treatments. So until it talks to us and tells us what's happening, then we're going to continue on with the basic treatments that we're doing right now, which includes the watering, the aerating of the soil, the adding of micronutrients, and the putting on of a compost layer, so a slow release type of fertilizer, and keeping the ground moist and keeping the proper moisture in the ground. So those are the basic things we're doing. There's a lot of other technical things that we'll be adjusting and testing and working with as we go on. But this is our quote unquote triage for the tree.
That's a good way to put
it. That's where we're
at. Okay, let's start to wrap it up. You were telling me, though, this tree has drawn interest from around the world. You've been getting emails from everyone.
I've got significant calls from Europe, from Asia, all through the mainland, and they're all concerned about the tree. And I just as I said before, the tree is important for me. It's important, but it's also secondary to the number of people that have died, and the tree, and all the people that are trying to make a new life for themselves in Lahaina. And those are the people that I really care about, and everything else. Myself, we got a good team together. We're going to do everything we can for the tree. I think the most important thing for everybody else is to help as much as they can the people that have been put into this situation that they never asked for. So that's where we're at, and we'll do that, and that's what we'll do. And hopefully, maybe in 3 to 4 months, hopefully you can have us back, and we can show you the new growth on the tree, and we can show you the things, how it's responding and coming back the way we want it. Okay. So that's where we're at, and we'll just have to wait.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve Nimz, for the update on the banyan tree. Of course, everyone is pulling for its survival.
Thank you.